Welcome to part 2 of the Chapter 7 lecture. Second half of the lecture, we're going to be talking about some of the grammatical stuff, sentence structure, and how to use signal words and phrases to show cause and effect relationships. These signals help the reader make connections between your main points and understanding your paragraph. And let's look at, this is going to be on page 160, 161, the benefits of pre-cycling. I'm going to let you read this on your own, so I'm going to just give you a quick pause as you go through this. It starts about people considering pre-cycling because it often means more benefits. So I will let you read that. This is also, say, on page 160 of your book. Okay. As you can see, it's a 15-sentence paragraph. We used to talk about, in my day, about paragraphs being 11 sentences. Some of them can be shorter, as some of you have done in your earlier writing assignments. Some of them can be longer. We're not tied to that 11-sentence structure that so many of us were taught. Just point that out here. So that's question 1. This is on page... This is actually on page, this is not on any page. What are the benefits of pre-cycling? Look at the words used to introduce the effects. Hint, we're going to look at sentences 5, 8, and 10. And then we'll also look at signal words in other sentences. So let's go back and take a look at sentence 5, and sentence 8, and sentence 10. Consequently, that's a signal word. As a result, it's another one. Thus, you notice also one other thing with all these. You see something right here? You have a comma. Very important to have in your grammar. 13, as a result. Finally, that's another signal word. You use some of these in your process paragraphs, which you're still working on. So let's look at that. And notice the prefix words pre-cycle and recycle. Think about the prefix exercise we talked about in our last lecture. Notice that pre, which means before. Re means reuse, as we talk about recycle. And so pre-cycle would be before we actually go into the actual recycling process. As we talk about reduce, reuse, and recycle. Kind of a big thing here, Raul. That's why we have these blue things out, and then every other week we put out our recycling. What effect has the writer's decision made to reduce and reuse had on our living space? So let's take a look here. Go back to the paragraph, and we'll take a look. Let's just go back and we'll just look through this. She reuses items, so she produces less garbage, brings her lunch in a reusable container. She's adding nothing to the trash cans. Decreases the amount of air pollution, that's a benefit. But in her own life, the trucks have less stuff to transport. I should be doing that. She's improving her quality of life by improving air quality. Improves her living space. She lives in a small one-bedroom apartment. As a result, she has little space to collect and store things, so she decides what she's going to get before buying them, So, think about making a shopping list. Thus, when I decide to leave plastic bottles in the store and read magazines online, I'm making my home a much more livable space. It's another reason I don't have, in my house, I have maybe 6 books, because all my books are now ebooks, and I don't subscribe to any newspapers. I read my newspapers online. Part of it is because I do have a small house and less clutter. So makes my life, I do good for the environment, and I do good for myself. So those are some ideas there. Transition signals are important for making the paragraph coherent. What does coherent mean? It means everything makes sense. Sticks together. Coherent, adherent, it sticks together. So that one sentence connects logically with the next, with the ideas flowing smoothly. And we have some great transition signals to show causes. We have sentence connectors, coordinating conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions, and others. We can see them right here. For, because, since, as, because of, due to, and as a result of. And here are some that show effects. Sentence connectors and coordinating conjunctions. Sentence connectors. Let's talk about these. Words or phrases that are sentence connectors. I can get it out. Link one sentence to another, to the sentence that comes before it. Let's take a look at this. I bring my lunch to school in a reusable container and eat with a fork that I can wash instead of a plastic one. That's one sentence. Consequently, this is a connector. I add next to nothing to the trash can. Consequently is linking the sentence before to the next sentence. Sentence connectors usually come at the beginning of the second sentence, but sometimes they can come in the middle or at the end of a sentence. And here's an example. How can we reposition this? By reducing what I use, comma, I have fewer items to recycle. As a result, sanitation trucks have fewer sanitation trucks, I can get out, have fewer recyclables to transport. Let's take a look at that. By reducing what I use, I have fewer items to recycle. Sanitation trucks, as a result, have fewer recyclables to transport. And we can move it to the end. By reducing what I use, I have fewer items to recycle. Sanitation trucks have fewer recyclables to transport as a result. You notice again, the second one's in the middle, the connector, and this one it's at the end, but they both link the second sentence to the first sentence. And they're usually followed by a comma. We spend a lot of time on commas. We do it in Comp 5. Pay particular attention about where we place commas. Coordinating conjunctions. This is a review. We've done this before. We're doing this week, and we did it last week. Coordinating conjunctions join two or more independent clauses into one compound sentence. Remember, independent clauses can stand on their own. You can put a period after them. Let's look at this. I care about the environment. Independent can stand by itself, comma, so I pre-cycle as much as possible. I pre-cycle as much as possible can also stand on its own. And subordinators will join an independent clause, again, we're talking about, with a dependent clause. A dependent clause means it can't stand on its own as a sentence. And here again, this is just a review of what we did before. The dependent clause can come before or after the independent clause. We must use a comma when the dependent clause comes first. See here, because recycling causes pollution, pre-cycling is better. See the comma right here, folks. Pre-cycling is better because recycling causes air pollution. Because recycling causes air pollution, the dependent clause is second. We don't need a comma here, so leave it out. And then other transition words we can use are prepositions. Because of, due to, as a result of, are prepositions. We use them before nouns, noun phrases, or pronouns. We talked about that in our last chapter. A prepositional phrase can come before or after an independent clause. Again, just like with the dependent clause coming first, we need a comma. And take a look right here. You see the preposition as a result, the prepositional phrase, we have a comma. But notice in our second sentence, we don't have a comma because it comes afterwards, after the noun, lifestyle. So there's a recap. We identified the causes and effects. We're going to write supporting sentences. And we are going to, as you will see in your lessons for the week, how to write, and we're going to write a cause and effect paragraph. Hope this is helpful for you. I will be assigning homework based on this stuff, so keep an eye on the lessons, and y'all have a good day.